Hello, everyone.
Hi, everyone. I think it's 1 minute past, so I think we can start. I have one point. It's from Sanat, who we cooperate with in terms of creating the testing environment for migration, for testing the migration more real environment. And he wrote to me this morning that they're working on this and they are going to help out, but they need to reach out to the other teams to make it possible. So is there anything else? Do we have any blockers, any updates that you need to give me? Anything important going on?
Sounds like everything is going smoothly.
That's very good news. So I understand right now the main focus is on migration and the pre-work for migration, so filtering out project namespaces from different queries. Is this correct?
Yes, that the filtering of project namespaces from queries, there is at least a couple of things left, I think, and that will bring us to being able to move to merge the creation of the project namespace when the project is being created, because that's going to go in first before the migration itself. And before the creation, I think we have a feature flag enablement issue that the create is blocked by kind of, because we need to enable, I don't know, do we have the feature flag enabled yet? I don't think we do, right? And then we'll need to remove it first before we can start creating project namespaces, right?
For hierarchy query, no, this is not enabled yet. We can enable this, and we don't have to necessarily wait for removal of the feature flag, but when it's turn it on by default, it should be good enough, I suppose.
Yeah, the problem, so why we said we need to remove it is that you cannot turn it off or we get failures. So it's not playing nicely if you have project namespaces in the database and you try to turn off the feature flag.
You mean for customers on self-hosted use case? Because
even for .com, I think, right? Because there was.
Yeah, I mean, the point is that we know that we don't want to disable it then later. Yeah, but it's, yeah, I agree that.
Yeah, it's like we know, but
to...
then someone else may think that, well, let's turn off this feature flag because we are seeing some issues without knowing the context, and they'll create more problems.
Yeah, that's
so,
true. That's a good point. Yeah. So the problem is that I will be away for the rest of this week, so I can proceed with feature flag enablement and removal next week soonest. So if this is a blocker, then it might be better if someone else takes the enablement and removal of the feature flag.
Yeah, if we can enable it, I'm not 100, like if we can enable it, let's enable it even today. And then we can remove it before we can merge the creation of the project namespaces, basically.
Yeah, okay.
But are we ready with the filtering? Like, is it all merged? It's nothing else there to do?
Which one? I'm sorry.
For the filtering of project namespaces,
No, not everything is done yet.
okay, so we can proceed with
Enabling the feature flag should not affect anything right now because we don't have any project namespaces yet in the database. So enabling the feature flag should just help us see if there are any, I don't know, outstanding issues with the fact that we will now introduce filtering by type within the queries, but that should not like break anything, basically. Does that make sense, or you need like?
So the feature flag is scoped to only hierarchy queries, not all the exclusion queries we updated, but to hierarchy queries only. And the second point is that I still have at least 2 MRs which are in a review process and are not merged yet. So we cannot proceed with merging the merge request which creates project namespace when project is created.
so first there's the filtering. Then if all of this work is done, we can merge creating project namespaces alongside projects. And when this is merged, we can go on with the backfill migration. This is the like merging order.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I do have the migration in works. I've tried it locally. It works, I think. I think we can be like, I don't know much about how we build these QA environments and how easy it is to pull in some branches and run the code from those branches. But if that's something easy for them to do, I think we can try and build one of those 1K or 2K environments and try and run some tests, get the feedback from QA. Maybe something is not going to work, I don't know, and then proceed from there. I don't think we need the like the merge. I'm sorry, I don't think we need the migration 100% production ready for us to test stuff. So we'll save some time instead of waiting for me to make it production ready and run it through all the reviews before we start QAing it, if that makes sense. So,
but
yeah.
my main concern right now is like we need to make sure that the testing environment is close in terms of namespace table size to production, because what I am afraid of the most right now is the fact that even growing this table over the times will surface some problems with queries somewhere in a place that we did not even touch because of just the pure size of the table. So that's why I will be pushing for like testing environment that will mimic the production size of the namespace table.
Yeah, I don't know if we will get any production size like data, to be honest, but like I think we can start with what a QA team has. I think they have some scripts to populate data or something, and we at least can start comparing stuff. We at least can get some feedback, right? Because if we see that even with some of the data being populated and we see like huge differences between the two, then there is stuff to be worked on already, and we don't have to wait for the huge environment to be populated. If everything, again, it depends on how much work it is to build up these environments, to run these migrations and so on. If that's a lot of work, maybe it's worth waiting, but if it's not a lot of work, it's worth just investigating and seeing what feedback we get. and it will be like relieving for us to know that on these test build environments, everything is just as smooth as before the migration and so on. So there will be a sign that everything is okay, and potentially will be okay on bigger data sets. And then like as the last step, we can test on some huge data sets and see how that behaves there.
Okay, but I will definitely be advocating for testing in as big as possible data sets before going to production.
Sure, if we can get one, I'm all for.
Yeah, me too, because I suspect that the biggest question or the biggest concern is that problems will turn out only with big data set, because I suspect that if you use only the basic 1K setup, which creates, for example, only thousands of groups, then the difference might be too small. I mean, in performance measurements, because for thousands of records, even an index might not take any effect, because the index will not be used by database planner in some cases for small amount of records. So it would be really cool to make sure that we have big enough testing environment, not necessarily at the beginning, but at some point.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if we can get big data sets, that's obviously that's something that we should do. I just don't know that we have one. I think, yeah, I don't know if we do.
If it wouldn't be possible, we would still need to figure out or get in touch with database to use, for example, lab environment or something. I think that Andreas mentioned something like that. And we would have to test the queries manually, but it wouldn't be a complete test because we cannot cover everything there.
One other thing that performance testing, I think, from QA would give us is they are poking a lot of the endpoints on the web and on the API. So even if we miss something, for instance, with the filtering of the project namespaces, we'll catch it at that, like even on 1,000 probably instance, we'll catch some of those misses, I think. So that's where I'm mostly kind of interested in getting that up running. Everyone will get this experience of getting the environment, running the tests and so on. So that will go smoother with the bigger data set, in my opinion.
Yeah, I completely agree that performance tool should help us a lot in test coverage.
Is staging appropriate for this type of testing if you're looking for a larger environment? Or is
I
it?
don't think staging
I don't
is.
think staging is that big as you know.
Is
as
it? I
product.
thought they were updating that. Okay. I know
I
there's
think
like
they
this
are
also
creating
like,
new staging, but I don't know if they are going to
right,
like
maybe I'm thinking
where
of
this
something
project
else.
is right now. I don't believe
Yeah.
it's ready. Like I haven't heard that it's ready.
Because I know they were making one called like, I don't know what the nickname of it was, like Big Rock or something like that. That's supposed to be a lot more like a bigger reference implementation. But yeah,
But I don't think it's ready. I haven't heard it's ready.
probably not. Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, as soon as we can involve QA and get feedback, even if we get feedback that everything is fine on the 1K, that's still something that we know of, versus right now where we don't have any, right? So
I will be following up with Senate. But you know, this is the update that I got this morning, so this is all I know right now. Okay, is there anything else? Okay, so give us all 15 minutes of our time back. Have a great day and see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.